Welcome back to Saturday Night Ladies. I am Deej Barons.
I'm Shari Vesco.
And I'm Demi Constantine.
And we are your Saturday Night Ladies. And we are at the penultimate episode of the season. I'm sorry, I love that word. I learned it in choir, but the penultimate bar of a song, so I like to use that word whenever I can. Season 51, episode 19, with the return of Matt Damon and the musical guest, Noah Khan. Matt Damon is back for his third time hosting. It's been a while since he was there. So, well, let's just get right on into it. So, get your big dumb cup, put on your big dumb hat, and let's talk about Saturday Night Live.
Hello to my lovely co-ladies. It's good to be here as always. Mother's Day, as we're recording this, is kind of tough for me, so I'm very happy to be with the two of you. You put a smile on my face. So
I understand the same way. I lost my mother way back in the 90s, so it's a difficult day.
yes, so I'm very happy to be with you two talking one of our favorite subjects, Saturday Night Live, and it is indeed the penultimate episode, number 19, with the return of Matt Damon. And speaking of Matt Damon, let's talk cold open. And we have the bar, which they pointed out last night in the Hot Take show, that bar looked awfully familiar. I think it's been used quite a bit, most famously for the fabulous Kate McKinnon sketches. And those are some of my favorites. So yes, this looks very familiar. I was sure she was going to show up, just like John was like, is Kate coming? But we don't get, hey, Kate, but we do get, he's becoming a fixture, and I'm not minded it. Colin Jost as Pete Hegseth entering the bar, where Keenan, of course, is the bartender. Chloe was a customer for just a blink and you miss it minute. And Colin is talking about how he needs a buddy to drink with, and who should walk in? But Brett Kavanaugh himself, portrayed famously by Mr. Matt Damon. Just as they're yucking it up, we have to have a third to the party talking about his new liquor. True story. As Aziz Ansari kept saying, this is a real thing. Cash Patel. Hilarity ensues. It was nice to get away from the press conference briefing, and it was lovely not to have any of our president, or at least mine and Demi's president. Deej doesn't have to claim him, lucky girl. So they yucked it up. They did some tub thumping, and then we got the live from New York. It's Saturday night. You know, I didn't think it was fabulous, but I didn't think it was terrible either. I think the three guys tried very hard. And it's always fun when they throw the toast in the cold open. So, you know, not a bad way to start the night. Just so for me.
Personally, this is my favorite cold open of the season. I absolutely love this. Getting Hegseth in a real place that to us looks kind of familiar, and then you add on Kavanaugh, and you add on Cash Patel, and what it reminds me of, it was the cold open for season 37, episode 19. This was just after Mitt Romney won the primary in that year's election. And they did take on Green Day's Time of Your Life with this campaign was the time of my life. These three guys who are well known for their love of the drink. I don't know why this tickles me so much. It always does when they do this is a real thing. Aziz was really, really hammering it down on that. It made me very happy. It was different. It was original. It was Trumpless. It had a great theme. And that old familiar bar. Although they had Keenan on the left side rather than the right side. That's what the only main difference. I'm going to call this my favorite cold open of the season.
I thought it was really great. I wish I'd put this down on the various forums where I discuss SNL, but I was hoping that Matt Damon would come back as Kavanaugh for a little reunion, because I think we can all maybe agree that Joe Hegseth is extremely Kavanaugh coded. So I was like, what a perfect pairing if they could only do that. But I don't like wish listing things for SNL. It's like going to a concert and like expecting a song to be played, and if they don't play it, you get mad. And it's like I just don't do that to myself. But I was so excited when Kavanaugh came out, because again, that hearing in 2018, I think, that was almost verbatim what the actual hearing was like. It was, oh my God, I think I've watched that cold open in particular I don't know, 6 or 7 times. It's just so good. So this was great. And talk about being drunk, everyone gets the joke. And then when Aziz comes in, does this bar take cash? That is the funniest thing. That was such a funny line. This bar take cash money because that's his name. That's what Cash Patel likes to call himself. Cash Money with a $sign on the personalized whiskey bottles that he gives out to his staff. So again, yeah, that is all real. And the Atlantic actually, there was one bottle that got put on eBay and the Atlantic bought it. And they were showing that picture of the seal and his name Cash with a $sign because it's 2026 and this is what our government is doing. So I'm really glad that they worked that all in. I thought it was bing, 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 777s. Great job. Stars aligned. Very happy.
The only thing I just remembered I had a problem with, because I am a whiskey lover. I love single malt scotch. What Cash Patel is doing to the goodness of whiskey, it just is like, ugh, which is why I'm glad we're still maintaining our ban on U.S. liquor up here in Canada.
Time for monologue, and on comes Matt Damon, and he's got to talk about why he's here. It's to push a movie that's not this week, not next week, but 9 weeks from now, The Odyssey will open. So that was a little bit of a chuckle. And then on to the Mother's Day. They're not doing the traditional Mother's Day because Spirit Airlines has shut down. Then we go to the audience, and there's a gentleman standing there, and I thought he looked sort of familiar. Turns out he is Jack Bessinger. He has a flower, and he's all set to meet Marcello's mother, but she's not coming. That was pretty darn funny. I like that they're sticking the writers in and giving them some time in the audience. I always talk about how important the writers are and how I feel like those of them that don't make it to the cast, unless they're a Paula Powell or Rob Smigel, a lot of the writers go unknown, even though they do incredible things.
Jim Downey.
I was thinking of Jim Downey and couldn't pull up his name, so thank you, Deej. So, yeah, we hear about a few, but we don't hear about nearly as many as we should. So I'm glad that they're kind of highlighting some of the newer ones. And I thought Jack was perfect, looking very pathetic. And I have to say, I can't blame him because Marcelo's mom is, wow. I know we're not supposed to comment on looks. She's a very attractive woman. So I can't really blame Jack. So that was a funny bit. And then I liked how Matt said, oh, if you've forgotten your gift, no problem. And he records the message, which was quite funny. This was in and out, nice and quick. Somebody said last night on the SNN, on the hot takes, this was what a monologue should be when it's not a professional comedian. Get them in, do a little shtick, say hi to the audience, be funny, find something relatable, get off. And that's exactly what he did. And then we got that little pop-in from Marcello with his mother and Jack having an interaction. He's like, let me get you away from this creep. That was a great way to end it. So it had a nice button. So yeah, a very nice monologue. I enjoyed it. I think Matt Damon is just so charming, just about the exact same age as me, which I found very interesting.
He is a charmer, that is for sure. And Marcella's mother, yes, she is very attractive. Jack Bessinger, this is his first year as a writer. So it's kind of nice that he gets a little bit of the appearance on a monologue for that sort of thing. No, Bazinga. No. You do not need my mouse right now. And there are no treats there. Sorry. Cat doing what cats do. I like the little side message that he was doing for the Mother's Day. Had just enough of what it needed to have. Didn't go too long. Marcella's mom was always welcome. All the moms are always welcome, but it's kind of nice they put another jab at Spirit Airlines. Wasn't too long, which is exactly what it wants to be.
It was a very serviceable, I guess, so that sounds bad, but monologue. But I kind of... Has anyone asked, like, why weren't the moms there this year? They're usually always there. Like, even in the pandemic show, they found a way to get all of them. I always love when SNL does traditions, like the Mother's Day episode, the Christmas episodes. I kind of like that SNL does that. So I'm just like, where are the moms at? But other than that, I thought then waiting to take your date, I think, but wait 9 weeks to go see his movie. I thought that was such a cute promotion. I really liked that. That was...
We are ready for our first sketch of the night, the Monster Channel Godzilla. And we open on a set, a naval ship, submarine, some such thing as that. We've got Matt as the head of the operation, Mikey as the co-pilot, Then there's Sarah, Chloe, Ben, and Jane in her 100th appearance. Yay, Jane! So, yes, this was an interesting way to kick off the night. Godzilla's approaching. They're freaking out every time Mikey tells them some dreadful piece of news. He gets spit taked upon by Matt Damon, who keeps changing his drink from one gross thing to another. We go from green drink to lumpy yogurt. It ends with them all spitting. We've seen this before. I guess people love a spit take. It is funny. I thought it went on a little long. I love Mikey, and Matt's having a fabulous time spit taking at him. I wouldn't have put it at the top of the show, but I'm not going to nitpick. I think a lot of people thought it was hilarious. It just wasn't as much for me, but that's why Saturday Night Live has a variety of sketches, because there's always something, usually always something for everybody.
See, I really like this one. Now, there was a comparison on the Hot Take show to the Hollywood Dish sketches, but what I think more of is the Point Place Police Department on Jimmy Fallon's show. One of my favorite ones being the one with Bill Hader. The way they did the escalation, constantly changing up what was done, kind of see where it was going, but it still tickled me because once you had all the people going around him looking at the thing, Captain Damon or whatever his name was coming along and, oh, make sure you stay hydrated. Mikey took it like a champ. Cut him off with Boca a couple times, which makes sense because when you got with that, all that kind of stuff happens, you just can't help but be funny, help but laugh at it. And it's just this desperation of just, could you please stop this right now? This also reminded me of when they did a take on You Can't Do That on Television. It was a John Mulaney hosted show with him and Sarah Sherman, as Sarah was Moose and he was just another kid on the show. The slime being shot out at them. Apparently, it was really painful when it got on their face. I'm not really sure if the reactions there were because of the paint or just the way they're acting, but it was kind of fine line. Mikey, you are a goat, total goat. He always gives his all in whatever he's doing. And yes, it's not fun to be has spit take upon, but hey, it's funny. It's a classic for a reason.
I just wanted to add that I love the end with, I think I forgot to mention Veronica as well. She pops in and spit takes at him and goes, well, I didn't want to be the only one left out after everybody else had spit at him.
I don't know who on the SNL writing staff has a military person to like check with, but whenever SNL does military sketches, they always get it right, almost disconcertingly right. Unlike the reason why this sketch worked, so like S&M was talking about it last night, contrasting when Colin Jost himself gets spit taked upon during update, and it's funny because he's like flinching, like waiting for it. And the reason why that does not happen with Mikey Day in the sketch, besides Mikey Day being a goat, as you both have stated, is because of military bearing. Military bearing, you would never flinch in the face of even like a bad commander that was doing spit takes on you. Like that wouldn't happen. That's why the construction about sketch works. And the beginning of it, when they're all like relaying like what they've seen, I'm like, oh, it reminds me, as a vet, like, oh, I did intel for 20 years. I'm like, oh, it reminds me of being in. When it turned into a escalation of the spit take trope, waiting to deliver the news, and Matt Damon's not swallowing, and you know he's gonna spit, and the audience knows he's gonna spit take again. Like the audience is cringing, but Mikey Day is not, because he is a military service member with bearing. That's why that worked. I'm very impressed with it. And then someone on Reddit was like, oh, the Godzilla such bad CGI. And it's like, that's the point. Do we really want to see a slick Godzilla? Like, no, we do not. There used to be action toys in a sandbox. So that's just my little mini Reddit rant. But I thought the construction was really good. I liked the take on the spit take trope. And I liked how it kept escalating and it got more and more disgusting, which I don't like. And I know there was a lot of spit that got in people's faces. And I don't like that either. But I like the construction of the sketch and the escalation.
Yeah, which reminds me, because they did a Godzilla movie, which was actually filmed in my city, New Westminster. There was one time I was going down for a rehearsal when I was a part of a burlesque troupe. Some of the street was blocked off. That was a high-quality CGI Godzilla, but it was an awful Godzilla.
Exactly.
We watched Godzilla for what started out as a guy in a costume on a fake set. You don't want a good-looking Godzilla. That's not what Godzilla's about.
Yeah, I agree on the Godzilla tip. It's supposed to look cheesy, and I love where he's spit taken at Mikey. So there's some nice little touches on this. So we're rolling from Godzilla into the obligatory Mother's Day sketch, or in this case, pre-tape. Have to have it. It's Mom the Movie trailer. Okay, as someone, and I'm not going to speak for Deej because all of our grief is different, but as someone who no longer has mom, this really resonated for me. It's Mom the Movie, and of course, we have the fabulous. Were we surprised to see her in the lead here? Ashley, and then Matt is in here, as is Jeremy, Tommy, and Veronica as the kids. And this is Mom's dream movie because nothing goes wrong and everything's right. And even the friend who gets sick is a friend she doesn't really like that much. She has the perfect husband, played by Matt Damon, playing Matt Damon. She wants him to go upstairs to make love. Why no? They're going to try on outfits. And they do this great montage that you've seen in so many movies. And everybody's having a great time here. This is a lot of fun. Very, very relatable. I love the mothers falling asleep in the movie because, full disclosure, it's an issue in the women in my family. My mother used to fall asleep in movies all the time. I've inherited that. So I really related there where the three ladies are poking each other to stay awake. So yeah, this was a lot of fun and a wonderful way to salute all of the great moms and aunts and grandmas and mentors and just fabulous women out there doing their thing to help out others. So I loved it. A lot of fun.
My mom passed in about, I think it was like 1992, very young. So I think she was like 47. So I've been without my mom for quite a long time, but I can still go forth and find the funny because this was definitely very funny. Kind of reminded me of, and maybe because we were reviewing this particular episode on We Hard Hater 2 episodes ago, the grandkids in the movies. It was heartwarming. Matt and Ashley were paired up quite a bit tonight. The eventual part of, so parts of the movie are eventually just the kids moving stuff around because by that time, of course, they've fallen asleep. Yeah, it wasn't like laugh out. It wasn't like ha ha funny. It was more like aw funny.
It was laugh out loud funny to me. I could not believe this sketch was happening. It was so funny. I remember I'm very blessed and lucky my mother is still with us. But I remember we saw The Family Stone in the theaters when it came out with my mom and my sister. My sister and I got drunk and it was a really great memory for me. But during the movie, spoiler alert, my mom's like, the mom dies? Like, I don't like this movie. And all the, I was like, oh, it's like lighten up. It's still a good movie. But like, she was like, F that movie. The mom dies. Like, I don't like that movie. So I kept thinking of that the entire commercial, like where nothing bad happens and the kids are all home and there's no conflict. And I thought that was so funny. I really thought it was a really, really tight pre-tape. Thank you, Shari, for bringing up the trying on clothes montage, which is overused. It is a staple of many female-focused rom-coms, coming-of-age stories. There is a trying on clothes montage that is very relatable for that type of movie. It's very harmless and it's very fun and it propels the plot like barely, like a little bit. It's supposed to be like evolving to like a different personality. We've all seen it. I don't think the men that were watching the show last night were quite as familiar. They're like, I don't know why that happened. And the girls are like, we know. That's hilarious. I really liked it.
What I remember is in the first Sex and the City movie when Carrie was trying to decide what clothes from her apartment to get rid of, and they did a little sort of montage. It also does happen in makeover kind of montages as well. So it's a trope that works and it definitely works as a funny way to refer to it.
We're off to our second live sketch, and this one is Tough Guys. We've got Keenan, Matt, Marcelo, Veronica, and Jeremy. And I thought for sure this was going to be an immigrant dad talk show because that's what it felt like. But nope, it's these guys telling tough guy stories. Only twist. They're not tough at all. They keep getting their butts kicked and put in boxes and fed gummy bears and all sorts of bizarre stuff. This was, again, I'm surprised this was so early in the night. It was pretty wacky. The guys were certainly having a great time. Not a lot of ladies throughout the night, somewhat, but a lot of very male-oriented sketches, which I get. Matt Damon's kind of your manly man. But he does get the ladies in a bit, but we only have one in this sketch, and she's very briefly in it. Marcelo was one of my favorite parts, and I like Keenan as always, because Keenan always has the zingers. I would have preferred another immigrant dad talk show, maybe. And just fun to see the guys having a laugh together and obviously enjoying each other's company in the sketch.
Yeah, Marcelo's really big story in the middle. Oh, just really, it was quite a tale. But what I was really distracted by is with Marcelo, I was trying to figure out, is that his stomach exposed or is that a fanny pack?
I think it was a fake stomach.
Couldn't conclusively figure out what that was supposed to be. A weird thing that distracted me throughout the whole sketch, but did like Marcelo's part, just the fact that no, these guys were tough guys at all. They're trying to get out of all this stuff. So my ADHD focus was a little bit hyper focused on that one thing. So sorry.
What I did like about, first of all, this sketch could have been half as long. They really should have chopped it. Yeah, Shari agrees. Yes. What I did like about it, and I was like, I don't understand what's happening. It was almost like a reverse Bill Brasky. In the Bill Brasky sketches, a bunch of dudes that are very drunk, cheering all the exploits of Bill Brasky, who, at times is 10 feet tall, killed bears with his bare hands, that kind of stuff. Instead, these guys were competing over who got beat up the most, but they're talking about it like it's like they're one-upping each other with how badly they got beat up by like children, which was kind of funny. But what I did like about Marcelo's impression is that you could tell he almost lapsed into Sebastian Maniscalco, but then he didn't because he caught himself. He's like, "Oh, I'm just doing Sebastian." It's like we've heard him, Marcelo. We know, we'll know, and he knew that, so he like pulled back a little bit and made it a little bit more, I don't know, New York. Not Long Island-y, but New York maybe. I don't know. But it was slightly different. So I commend Marcelo for catching himself on that.
I was getting more of a Queens vibe.
All right. So we're leaving the tough guys and we're going to the world of tough kitties with tidy care crystals. And it seems like you know how SNL does their commercials. They set it up so it seems just like a normal commercial. The cat litter where the cat does their business and the color tells you whether they're healthy or not healthy, etc. Only now there's a color not cat related. We've got Ashley and Matt again. Ashley's only in the pre-tapes tonight. She's not in anything live, but when she does a great job, and I agree with Dee, she's great with Matt. They're good as the couple that now is being told by Jadge, the announcer, and thanks to the Saturday Night Network for pointing out that that was Jadge, because he had a big part in here. It was just his voice. But he was kind of egging the couple on after telling them that the blue color was not a cat. In walks Andrew. He's getting blamed for the pee. And chaos ensues, argument ensues. This was fun and very funny. And of course, then they end up finding out, oh, dogs can make it blue too. Quite funny, quite charming. And I did really enjoy the pairing of Ashley and Matt. They definitely sell as a married couple.
As the resident cat parent and one who currently uses Pretty Litter, which is a health monitoring cat litter that will show different colors depending on, like, if you see red, that means there's blood in the urine. Yellow, that means there's like an acidity problem. So I could totally relate. I love these kind of commercials where they do sort of break the third wall with the announcer and just how much this was concerning them the whole time, trying to figure out, well, if first the announcer wouldn't tell them, then they mentioned it's human. They go to their son, played by Andrew, trying to figure out, did you do this? And he was so offended, and rightfully so. But in the end, oh wait, it's the dog. And I did like how this led into the bumper where they had like a really cute cat in a litter box with SNL in blue. So it was a nice connection with pre-commercial bumper. Kitties are so adorable because, I love my kitty. As a cat person, I love this one.
Reddit also loved the cat as well, Deej. There was a lot of discussion about the cat and how it was an adorable cat. This was cinematic. This was amazing. This was really tight turns, although I have to admit, I really like how they just launched into insanity. I kind of love when SNL does that. And I will always have a soft spot in my heart for commercial parodies. Because when you're a kid and you see that, your brain breaks. You cannot believe that someone's doing this on TV. TV is making fun of other TV. Oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. I always get a little bit excited whenever I see commercial parody. And it delivered, I gotta say, when John John had a note and he was like, it would have been super cool if it came out that Matt Damon was the one peeing. It's the one he was sleepwalking or something. I'm like, damn, that would have been really funny, actually. But regardless, I just wanted to give props to John on that. That's really good. Really well acted. How it devolved into existential crisis for this family. What human being is peeing in the cat litter to make it turn blue? Trust like erodes within seconds. And it becomes so real. And you're so locked in. You're like, what's going to happen with the family? Who's actually peeing? Is it the son? And they didn't actually explain if it was a son or not. So much tension. Just really well executed. Just fantastic.
I just remember I did love Ashley's reaction when Matt asked what was possibly her, and she was rightfully incredulous. Like, how? I'd have to squat really, really low to even try to get there.
People with vaginas, we were all picturing it like, well, is that even possible? No, the angle's all wrong. So yes, I'm glad you brought that up, DJ. It was an excellent point that they incorporated in because that was also true to life.
Very, very funny. And yes, it was a very cute kitty. I like the puppy too. They always get very sweet animals. And there was a kid in the sketch we just talked about, the tough guy sketch, that they were asking about because we think he'd been in something else. He was also excellent, whoever he is. And I think they have used him before. So they're good at finding animals and kids that just perfectly fit the situation.
Well, who doesn't love a golden retriever? Come on.
Agreed. So yeah, they're very good at, after 51 years, they're good at finding just the perfect kid, the perfect animal, the perfect whatever they need that just works out swimmingly. And it certainly did here. And now we're going into the musical bit of the show. And it's Noah Khan, who I don't think I'd heard of, but I really like the sets of both the songs. I really like the sets that they've been choosing. The artists have been choosing for their songs. They're really quite beautiful. So I enjoyed both songs. It was The Great Divide was the first song, and the second was Doors. I thought it kind of had a folky vibe. It wasn't quite country. What it made me think of is the 90s. It had a very 90s, emo-y, grungy kind of vibe. And I like it. Hey, any guy who can wear French braids and pull it off gets my respect. He pulled it off. It worked. And I liked the large band. There was a lot of instruments, which made it very melodically pleasing. And yeah, this is an artist I would not mind seeing again. I really enjoyed him, and I thought both numbers were beautifully done. He has a fabulous voice. I like that they're getting away from the flashiness. We haven't had a lot of flashy numbers lately. We've had a lot of focusing on the music, and I really have been enjoying that.
Yeah, they're making very good use of rear projections with the screens behind the set and how they can there's one part of the second song where there's like, you can see people in the window. Really nice kind of setup. Nothing wrong with just the general, let's just go to where the band usually plays and or go to the band, just have the general set, let's just play our music. This was appropriate for the artist. I don't think it was quite grunge, but it was definitely a rock style. Almost a Jack Johnson kind of thing. Just a little bit more oomph. You didn't even notice the guy had French braids. I'm going to have to check that out again. But hey, you know what? It's a way to get your hair off your neck and out of your face. So very engaging. He definitely had charisma. Great band members. So, he performed very well.
Yeah, I really liked him. I hadn't heard of him until he was on SNL. He was on SNL last year. I forget who it was hosting, but I'd never heard of him. I had no idea what kind of music he played, because I love when SNL does that, because I had never really kept up with pop music ever, because I listen to punk, so most of it came out 20 years before. So I've never really been in touch with any of the acts in SNL. So I really like they introduced me to new artists. So I really like the songs he did, and I downloaded them and I listened to some of them, and I really liked it. Not enough to buy it on vinyl, but I really liked it. So I was like, oh wow. And I guess in between then and now, his popularity has gotten so huge because there were people in the comments complaining that they hear him on the radio every other song, and I'm like, oh wow. He's big enough for people to complain about. I was not expecting that. I thought it was really great. Someone on Reddit, I know I'm just sourcing Reddit for everything, but somebody said, this is country music for people who live in Vermont, which I was like, oh, that kind of works. That kind of works. I really liked it. I like the second song a lot. He's so happy to be there. And he incorporated an SNL shout out in his first performance. In the last show he did, I guess it was like a dream of his to be on SNL. So he was so enthusiastic and he worked another one in. I really like that he has live musicians doing like rounds and stuff. That was really cool. He just is really, really in the pocket, it seemed, with his career and his talent. So glad we got to see it. I thought it was all great.
So now we're going to dance our way into Weekend Update. And it's What's Up with Update, featuring the jokes that Deej likes. Take it away, Dee.
Okay, so what's up with update? This week, Secretary of State Marco Rubio traveled to Italy to meet with Pope Leo on an attempt to repair the relationship between the U.S. and the Vatican. After the Pope requested anyone but J.D. Vance, during the meeting, Marco Rubio also presented the Pope with a gift of an egg-shaped crystal, which he bought from his favorite religious website, AdamandEve.com. And I will highly recommend AdamandEve.com. I have purchased a few things from there, and they are good quality and good customer service. The Pentagon released Friday never-before-seen files on UFOs. But don't worry, the most dangerous flying objects have already been eliminated, showing a picture of a Spirit Airlines plane. Hey, give me just 1 second. Just gonna turn off my back camera for a sec. Okay, note to self. Do not eat dry Cinnamon Toast Crunch before doing a podcast. If there's anything you take from this episode, take that. The Supreme Court temporarily restored mail-order access to abortion pills, citing prom season. Although in Canada, that would be grad. Officials around the world are tracking passengers potentially infected with the virus, which sounds scary, but let the president calm your fears. So we have a clip of Trump saying, "It's very much, we hope, under control." And Cole responds, "Oh my god, that's such great news. But why? Why does that sound familiar?" And insert a clip of the January 2nd, 2020 World Economic Forum, where he says, "We have it totally under control. One person coming from China, and we have it under control. It's going to be just fine." So it's called Pies Yay and gives it a 2 thumbs up. FBI Director Cash
Patel?
To which Shay replied, "Well played," has reportedly been giving up bottles of his personalized whiskey to FBI staff. Cash Patel whiskey, so strong you won't be able to see straight. And then we go into Jeffrey, and there's a pause. But that's where the bit ends, because even I have limits, as Jay responds. Jeffrey Epstein's alleged suicide note was released and contains the phrase, "What you want me to do, bust out crying?" which is apparently referencing a line from the Little Rascals movie. And I think this note is real because Little Rascals were Epstein's type. Funny, yet so painfully true. Yes, Health Secretary RFK Jr. Boo. Posted a picture of himself holding a bird he caught at the Dallas airport. And then a second picture of himself burping feathers. Somehow, considering what he was doing for Bear, I could totally see him doing that. So this week, President Trump met at the White House with the President of Brazil, a parrot from BBL, which is known as a Brazilian butt lift. The photo was absolutely hilarious, but the audience wasn't quite with them. But Shay had said, "I really wanted that one to work." Kamala Harris has reportedly told donors that she wants the DNC to release its autopsy of what went wrong in the 2024 campaign. Autopsy? Come on, he's not dead. Photo of Joe Biden. And there was kind of mixed reactions, and Cole just said, "Remember the parrot?" Kudos to the art department for putting together that parrot with the BBL. It was hilarious. Tina Charles, the WNBA all-time leading rebounder, announced that she is retiring. Charles credits her rebounding success on WNBA players missing a lot. Now, I'm not sure if that was quite him dunking on the WNBA again, but it kind of makes sense from a technical point of view. This week is Teacher Appreciation Week, to which everyone was saying, "Yay," and they applauded. So thank you for the greatest teacher of all, Dad's belt. Colin suggested, "Do you want to take back the applause?" Gap founder, dead at 94. She is survived by Gap kids. Police in New Jersey are investigating a construction site after a porta potty mysteriously exploded. Though in New Jersey, that's just the sound of an angel getting its wings. That is What's Up with Update, the jokes that I liked.
Thank you, Deej. You know what? Somehow you make them all funnier. I don't know. They're funnier the second time around. I don't know. Maybe because I'm more awake. But this was a really funny update. I really enjoyed this update a lot, and what might have been one of my favorites of the whole season. And I think a lot of the visual jokes, like the parrot. And thank you for telling me what a BBL was, because somehow that got by me. So now that makes it way funnier. So yeah, good jokes tonight. But as usual, I want to talk about the correspondence. And I'll start with Mr. Jeremy Culhane doing for the second time. And I'd heard that this was supposed to be on a maybe last week's show, possibly. Tucker Carlson talking about, well, he wouldn't have been talking about the Met Gala because it wouldn't have happened, but he would have been talking about something else. But I'm glad they saved him for the Met Gala because I've looked at some of those dresses. I don't know. I'm positive Demi has because I know she loves her sartorial things.
This is true. This is true.
But I'm sure I'm almost positive Deej saw a dress or two too, because there was some wild stuff.
Oh no, this is something I actually do kind of look forward to seeing, because the whole idea is there's a theme on our competition to see who actually does the theme. And this time it was a lot of the things were based on actual art pieces, this being the fundraiser for the Met. So, and Seth Meyers was there with his wife.
Oh, I missed him. He's been there before. I didn't see him this year. Thanks, Deej.
Yeah, he's been there a few times. Oh, this time he had his usual team, but I had a couple like gold spiders on him.
Oh, fancy Seth. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cute.
Oh, I need to look that up.
So he did a little bit more this time.
Marcelo was looking quite dapper too.
Oh, he was there, yeah.
I think he was doing like correspondent type stuff, wasn't he?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, he might have been. I just saw several pictures of him with his lovely date. I don't know if she's his girlfriend.
I think he was doing kind of like a red carpet kind of deal.
He looked very dashing. He had a really cool outfit on. I thought it was cool because it wasn't like the typical tuxedo. I don't know if it was inspired by some piece of art, but yeah, cool. So yes, Met Gala is very cool. And of course, Mr. Carlson has his own take on things. And Jeremy is spotting his Tucker Carlson taglines brilliantly. I think we're going to see this for probably years to come. Very, very funny. I think he just nails it because Tucker Carlson has got an opinion about everything. And it's usually an opinion that I don't agree with or understand. And Jeremy brings that perfectly to life. And I like the way Colin kind of needles him. So he brings out even more layers. So yeah, this was a great correspondent. 3 tonight, which is a lot. And so yeah, this was definitely the one to start with. And probably my favorite, though I did like the third one we're gonna talk about as well.
Yes, I love his Tucker Carlson. A very laughy Tucker Carlson tonight for some reason, but there you go. I actually made notes on this one. Response to Heidi Klum. The left has finally gotten what they always wanted. They put the Statue of Liberty in a burqa. Complained about just being a waste of time in New York, and Colin was saying, "Aren't you from Maine?" But I love this. Maine. The E is silent. But who silenced it? And why? And what does the E stand for? Euphoria. And no, I'm not talking about the feeling I get when I press 1 for English. I know it's racist, but it's funny. Had that photo of the actor who portrays Michael Jackson in the new biopic that's out. The part Michael Jackson no one wants to talk about anymore, which we think is the allegations. Of course, I'm talking about the part where he was a white man. Oh, sorry, kids. Michael Jackson doesn't get to live a beautiful white life. Who does that remind me of? Oh, yeah, that's right. All of us. That's the deal now. The very ending with round bananas. You want to stop looking gay? Try round bananas. Yeah, that was just perfection. I love the Tucker Carlson. I love his interplay with Colin. It's just so much fun.
What are we doing? What are we doing? That's the goal. That's the rule now. As someone who has analyzed a lot of Tucker Carlson for my job, I've had to watch hours of him talk. He's not like that anymore. That was a very deceptive device he would use when he had a show on Fox, because news is not questions, news is answers. So his entire program would be nothing but questions, just asking questions, but that's not news. And it filled a lot of conspiracy theories. So to see Jeremy skewer this so surgically, it will never not be funny. More Jeremy, absolutely exquisite. You can give any topic, and he'll be able to make a thing off it. So if it was supposed to be on 2 weeks ago, the Met just happened, yeah, no problem. You could insert this insanity into any situation, and it's always going to be funny. Jeremy, hats off. More of this, please God.
Now we'll move to our second correspondence. And this is Mikey and Marcelo playing two kamikaze dolphins. And they're talking about their role in the Iran war. And on come Marcelo and Mikey in, fantastic dolphin costumes with dynamite strapped to them, discussing their role, making bad puns about porpoises. I know they were trying to, bring back the magic that they had in the aerial tramway sketch. And I love the two of them together, and I definitely want them paired up again. But this just did not really work for me. They were trying so hard with the puns, and Colin was trying, and the bit with the so all you guys need is a bucket of fish. Well, I have this boat that I need to get rid of, kind of thing. I'm paraphrasing, but that was sort of, funny. That was Colin trying to save it, but yeah, this just fell a little flat for me. But I love Mikey and Marcelo together. I like seeing the veteran and the young student, pairing up, and you can really see Marcelo learning a lot from Mikey. This just wasn't the best example of that. But hopefully they'll be back again in wacky costumes because, yeah, that I do like.
I'm going to have to disagree. I love this. These two work so well together, and they just put their all into it. I love the bit when they're swaying back and forth. Oh, yeah, and so I got to give special mention. I don't know who it was who was working the tail in the back. I don't know if the same person who did the raccoon tail, but when they were the back and forth thing with the tail, the perfect choreography between whoever was holding the tails and the guys. And yeah, so I like the fact that he had grief bottom and his life had no purpose. And that that the one dolphin, the Mikey dolphin, would rather die than live in Orlando. If a dolphin dies an honorable death, in heaven you're rewarded with 72 sturgeon, turning the blue whale into a sperm whale. The Marcelo dolphin going down into the deep sea to... Zinka, stop poking. I'm out of treats right now. Stop. And I did like the bit with Colin with you can sink any kind of boat. Let's say a ferry. That's a huge financial drain on its owner. I mean, it's a perfect opportunity, perfectly reasonable for Colin to want. So I laughed at these guys, maybe because they're just... You can't but help being sucked into their enthusiasm.
Pass. I love that, Deej. Loved it.
Now we have correspondent number 3, and Jane is back with her keyboard, doing her really what she started. What was her very first bit? And it's kind of cool that this was her 100th sketch was this evening. And so it's perfect that she sort of came full circle, and she's talking about how she's always late. And somebody made a comment like, how can she be late to something at 11:30? And I'm like, oh no, I've heard stories about cast members getting there just in time to go on stage since day one, like running in. So I can believe it. You lose track of time, whatever. So it's very believable. I love Jane's song. I love how she just doesn't care what people think if she's late. She really just is going to continue to be her. And I think this was a kind of a nod and a wink to the audience that, yeah, she's going to continue to be her no matter what people are saying online, no matter what people are saying wherever. She's going to keep doing what she's doing. And I commend that. And I think she's had I think we all agree she's had a banner season. She's really come to full, I hate to say blossom because that's so cliche, but she's really come full circle, like I said. And I thought this song was great. I thought I'm a person who is really neurotic in general, but I'm really, really neurotic about being late. I hate being late. So I couldn't quite relate to where Jay was coming from, but I still found it endlessly funny. I have friends who are chronically late. They're a little more caring than Jane, like they do feel bad. But yes, this was a lot of fun, very funny. I liked Colin again, egging her on. And yeah, I enjoyed this very much. And 3 cheers for Jane. I'm so glad that she's made it to 100 sketches. I hope she's in hundreds more.
Yeah, Jane has really been getting out of her comfort zone this season in a lot of ways. So I'm quite confident Jane will be repertory cast next season because, yes, very divisive with some people not liking her, but she has finally find her way. She's found her people with Veronica, and even if sometimes it's just a one line in the thing, but sometimes that one line is incredibly funny.
I just want to say, as someone with a chronic illness who is habitually late, whenever I hear a song about people being late, it's so liberating for me. It's like it's the greatest thing ever. I'm like, yes, because I will never be proud of it. I will always be ashamed. Um, but oh, so I like to live vicariously. So when Jamie is like about being late and like owning it, oh my god, it made me so happy. Just the subject matter alone. And by the way, Jane had a killer line in the mom movie. Like my favorite part was when my kids were looking for their birth certificates and she had them. That was amazing because that is very much something a mother would say and a very real thing that a mother would know. Uh, so that was great. Well, I agree with you all. Jane's had quite the arc. She is just really finding her lane, and the haters just look stupider every day.
We're getting to the end of the night. Just 2 more sketches to go. And we're moving into Substitute Teachers Goodbye with Matt, Andrew, Veronica, Cam, Ben, Jane, and Sarah. And in this one, Matt is the substitute teacher who is, as it says in the title, getting ready to leave. And he's so impressed with this class. He wants to do something fun to say goodbye and thank you. And he has his boombox. And he turns on some music and he starts busting. Yes, I'm a Gen X baby of the 80s. So I'm going to say busting a move because Matt and I are from the same generation. He can really dance. I was impressed. And he's trying to get all the students to come on up and he's calling them all by name. And they're not saying a word. This is a completely Matt Damon driven sketch until the very end, and where the students do comment, and we find out the big punchline that Andrew is his son. And I love Cam's got a great line of, I guess the next few weeks are going to be pretty hard, which is so spot on because high schoolers be mean. And I'm sure Andrew is going to hear all about it on social media and in the hallways. So yeah, this was pretty funny. I thought it was very relatable. I was such a goofball in high school. I would have been dancing with him and I would have had probably any shame about it. But yeah, this was great fun, and I like the button. Other people didn't like the Andrew button where he makes the face like, yeah, it is going to be pretty hard. I thought that was a perfect way to end it. So this was a great second half of the night sketch. I definitely one that I liked better.
No, did not like this at all. Went on way too fucking long. You could definitely cut the dancing in half. The reactions were good in the end, but it's not even where it came to. It was kind of funny. Then he got annoyed. Then it became funny again. I was just annoyed. Just like, can we let this sketch freaking end? I am hating this every single moment. Worst sketch of the year.
Oh boy, Deej. Wow. And I can totally get your point of view too. Like I said, this is why SNL has all kinds of sketches for all kinds of senses of humor.
It wasn't Mr. Bunting, but it was still kind of funny. It was very, very cringe, but then it was like self-aware cringe. And then it was still cringe, and then it became self-aware of the self-awareness of the cringe. So I don't know where it left off. But Matt Damon, yeah, no, I would also dance with Matt Damon as a teacher. But I'm glad we didn't go that direction. I'll say that.
We're left with one more sketch, and it's the auctioneers. And Sarah, Matt, Andrew, Tommy, Jeremy, Marcelo, and we get a teeny bit of Jadge. Not a lot of Judge tonight at all. I'm almost wondering if he had something going on, and so he didn't want to be in it too much, like something during the week, or I don't know, because this is like the least Judge we've seen in a long time. But when he was on, he was great. He was the announcer in the kitty litter, and he was so funny. And he's great here. And everybody is doing the auctioneering voice. And it's this troubled couple, and Sarah and Matt, who I also thought were a very good couple, keeping that auctioneering pace, that auctioneering cadence the whole time. And then the boys come in because they're going to get a divorce, and the boys are putting up their paddles as he tells them the things they're going to get if they come with him. And then Judge comes in and says, well, he'd like to bid on the young lady since she's not taken anymore. And that, of course, brings Matt back in. And they end up together at the end. I thought this was a perfect way to end the night. I enjoyed this very much. Very funny. And I'm fascinated by all those auction reality shows that used to be on. Auction Kings, and there was all kinds of them. And I'm really obsessed. And I hope maybe when I retire, I can do a stint as an auctioneer, because I just think that looks really fun. And I talk really fast. So maybe I could pick it up. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. I thought everybody did a great job. I love the boys in matching pajamas. It was just, I thought, really fun way to end the night.
So I go from worst sketch of the night to the sketch of the night for me. Sarah and Matt did not stumble one bit. Every bit was clear, concise. There was no breaking. The cadence for both of them was completely perfect. Kind of expect that from Sarah. Matt Damon, you surprised me. Good on you. It's really hard to pick out any particular lines that are particularly funny just because it goes so freaking fast. But that's okay. Going through the arguments and divorce and the dads and the sons, and it was just well constructed, extremely well performed. I was completely blown away by this. So after the total shit show that was Substitute Teacher, this really just got my mood back up.
Oh my God, Deets. So agree. This is also the most upvoted sketch on Reddit for the episode. I need to know everything about this. Like, how long have they written this? Was this in the back pocket? Had Sarah been trying to get this on with other hosts and they couldn't hang? You're watching two auctioneers get close to divorce, accuse each other of things, and then reconcile in auctioneer speed talking. And then you're like, but to your, like, what you're saying, Deej, you're like, well, I expected that from Sarah, but not from Matt Damon. And then, like, well, I expected that from Matt Damon because he's an actor, but not Sarah. Like, it was like, who's going to break? And neither of them broke. They just kept going and going and going, spitting out those lines. I need to know everything about this. How long did they practice? How long did it take? Who was it harder for? Is this the first host that was like, yeah, I can do it? How hallowed is this? Who wrote it? I need to know everything about this sketch. It was absolutely flawless. And it was a very funny premise. I'm like, well, this will be funny no matter what. Came for the premise, stayed for the skill. Like, oh my God, that's wow, not one breakup. And then the kids coming with their input in the form of like auction paddles was really like stratosphere. That just was like just shot it up. Just such an amazing filet mignon of a 10-1. Unbelievable.
I can only imagine what the cue cards look like.
Poor Wally.
I can only imagine what it was like developing and rewriting and writing the cue cards on this. I'm imagining people, instead of doing the flip over, they just start throwing the cards on the floor because I had to go so fast because I cannot imagine anybody memorizing this.
Unreal.
Okay, well, I guess that wraps up the show. And now we're ready to do our ratings. Does anybody have an idea what
Surgeons?
Sturgeons. Why not? The auctioneer sketch, the mom sketch were highlights for me. Absolutely not blaming the host. He was completely game for everything. Everything he was in was fantastic. This one just fell a little short for me. I just felt like some things weren't fleshed out enough. And yeah, I definitely think length was an issue tonight. I feel like they were trying to speed things along, and they showed all the credits and everything of the good nights last night, which was cool. But I was surprised they didn't put one more little bit. I heard that Herlihy had a pre-tape that they could have put in. Maybe that would have made it go too long. I don't know. The night just felt like it wasn't as well constructed as it usually is. So I was a bit disappointed. This was a 5.5 sturgeons for me.
I rate this one a bit higher. The only low light of the whole thing was the substitute teacher. I'm going to give this an 8. Because I did it. It was just the one sketch that was so truly horrible, but everything else, and they saved it at the end of the night. And it was nice to finally just let the good nights play. Let them go all the way through. Don't make us wait until we have to go online to see it. That's stupid. So, because some people don't necessarily pay attention to the nights, but sometimes it's nice to see. So, yeah, 8 sturgeons for me. I really enjoyed this episode.
I'm going to go 7.75, even though I don't like doing decimals, but I'm going to just because, I don't know, just in general, but I'll say with Matt Damon, I feel safe with him. So it was a really great time. I had a very good time watching this episode.
All right, so that's another one done for Saturday Night Ladies, and we are very close to the end of our first season covering Saturday Night Live, which is pretty epic. We've had a great time, and although the world may seem pretty bleak, we must go forth and find the funny.
Funny as hope.
Saturday Night Ladies is a presentation of Wacky Notion Productions. Hosted by Deeds Behrens, Shari Fesco, and Debbie Constantine. Recorded and edited by Deeds Behrens. Off-week show research by Shari Fesco. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, just email SaturdayNightLadies1978@gmail.com. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.